Alright, welcome to day trading the NASDAQ, and right now I've got the daily chart up, and we're going to be looking at the 27th. Now you can see it's if we go back several days, really we could probably even go back to kind of right about here on the 330, but you can see it's been playing within this range here, which is kind of nice. So as opposed to maybe like an upward trend or a downward trend, a basing trend, it's playing in this. It's kind of almost, if it was a smaller chart, you'd say it'd be consolidation, but it's a fucking daily, so it is monstrous. But if we look at kind of the daily, we've got an upward top. Right, when it hits this area, it tends to short. So if you can see it kind of hit the top here, so I would expect a pullback, tomorrow's session. But you see a high, you see a trace down to a low, and so forth. It's just kind of playing within this realm. So let's go to a different time frame here. Oh shit, they don't even have it. Well, that's a bummer, dude. Well, we can go to the daily. So let's go ahead and remove all drawings. Let's go to the hour real quick, but that's fucked up. Let's see here. I guess it'd be 240. Oh, goodness. Alright, so we have a 4-hour time frame. So let's look what we've kind of got going on here at the 4-hour. So I'm going to go back to right about here, which is the 29th. You have an uptrend, right down, fill in these V's. Alright, beautiful range. Let's go ahead and map out some highs, and then let's map out some points where we think the market has some issues. That's not bad. Let's go into the hourly. That is just so tight. If you played off this trend line, and you could probably even channel this trend line here, doesn't quite hit the channel quite as sweet as you'd want, but pretty fucking close. I know we're supposed to be focusing on the 27th, but look how beautiful this played, this line. I mean, you get wrecked there, but that's pure sex. If you're day trading, that's, man, you've got to love that. That's just a work of art. An absolute work of art. Play the wick or the body. Let's do the... it kind of lines up with the break and that top there. That's tough to hit. We'll go that general range. Then we'll play our top. Then we could break down each individual high here. So what I'm trying to get at, or what I'd like to see before you get into a day's trade, obviously 9:30 is kind of where I like to enter the market, but a lot of times you'll get a nice 8:30 move. But today was relatively a simple day to trade. and you'll have your breaks, you know, your hourly breaks. But I always like to see how the breaks line up with some previous data. But let's break it down to 30. Nothing really too complicated, you know. It ranges within there. So let's go to the 15. We'll begin our day. So our previous data has us going in this nice controlled channel on a downward momentum. And we can see a high that broke the high, the previous. So we're going low without really any new highs. The exception here, that was a new one. And then here's these beautiful ups. God, that's so sexy. Anyway, so it's a downtrend. Is basically what I'm getting at. So here's like a nice sideways move. Then we begin the downtrend. I am a huge fan. I call it the V. You can see it here, here, here. Not quite a full fill there, but you can get a fill there. So when you get these V's, you'll have, like, you know, we'll take this one for instance. Yeah, building up to a high. You'll have a crash, and normally you can get a pullback to right below, like, the shoulder area. And then you have the top range. Then you get the shoulder here. Normally within the shoulder, you can almost, it hits it a lot, guys. So if I see a downward crash like this, I'm probably looking, once it exhausts itself, creates a base, I'm looking to fill this area. And more often than not, you know, shoulder area is here, you get a fill. Downward trend, we don't fill it quite yet. This one would probably be the one that doesn't quite, well, that's kind of an ugly shoulder, ain't it? But sometimes also when you're playing within a trend, yeah, you know, the trend line, you probably could adjust that. When you switch time frames, your trend lines change. So for instance, on an hourly, it looks tits, right? And then when I switch to a 15, obviously it's not going to be the same line, which is a little frustrating, but it is what it is. It's this, you know, the software you use. But what I'm getting at is we have this downward movement, we have the low, and we have a pullback, and then we have a continuation. The continuation fills the V. So something to think about. It's much harder to play in real time than it is to play, you know, over several days. But with your data, sometimes you can see it play out time and time again, you know. So let's go into today. Excuse me. Today is one of the more simplest days to trade, and I'll tell you why. And we'll break it into smaller time frames too. So let's go to the 27th. Okay, so 1:30 in the morning, we're right in this general area. We have downward, basing up, we fill the V. Oh, shocker, filled it. We go back down again. So we're kind of ranging within this area. So if I look at what it did kind of in, you know, from say 2 a.m. to, you know, 9 a.m., it's kind of just playing in this area. So we would like to see a breakout either down or up. Momentum is going higher, right? At least if we're paying attention to the 15, we're not really, like here, we're stitching. You know, you can see the volume of pricing. If you're a trend if you're, you know, if you like 200 MAs, you can see it stitched to MA. the moving average, and then you see it go up, not really break down. You're not really getting anything too crazy here. You know, you're going from, 14. That's no chump change though. You're taking 71 to 11. So, 40 plus points. But this isn't really where we want to pay our attention to. What we want is we want to break out of this range. And so we go to the 830, get a nice wick there. 930 is really where I like to see what happens. And so here's our 930. So we're moving up, we hit the 930. Let's take a closer look at that. This is where I pretty much begin my day. So 930, got like a nice 50-50 bar. You have a huge slam here, which is kind of interesting. So you're not sure what's going on. Immediately gets slammed down. And then here we make our first bigger bar. So at 10 a.m., that's the one to kind of pay attention to. You can also look at your bars going across. Are we making new highs? Are we making new lows? So if you trade the 15 and you're looking at 930, here's your range, right? And then we come over here, we have a slightly higher high, immediately gets beat down. Right, look at that. I mean, just slammed. Which normally, it's kind of funny, that might lead you to believe that there's not a lot of strength, and we might be looking down, but your very next candle is a new high. And your very next candle is another higher high. And then we go into a little bit of a sideways action here. And then we go a little bit lower, then we're immediately back up again. So I think you can see the pattern. It's an upward trend. We're not breaking the 2. We never break the 2, going all the way up the entire fucking day. Absolutely crazy. Right here you start to see a curl over where you think it's going to drop down, but fucking Amazon comes out with its earnings and it skyrockets up. So to me, this was a false. If you had enough money to trade, past that little window past close, most people are done trading around 4:10. If you're on a funded account, but if you're a swing and you can do overnights and you have a large account, you can get in on some of the after hours action. But Amazon announced their earnings, shot it up. It was on its way down. So I believe if the earnings weren't listed, we were going to start tracing back down again, but that got shot to shit. So no matter really what time frame you look at today, break it down to a 5, you kind of see like a little bit of a collapse, a move up, a basing period here, where it just constantly bases. Say up, down, up, down, up, down. Now you have, that's a little higher, that's lower, that's higher, but look at the bottom. You're not making new lows. And then as you progress higher, you constantly move up. So base, 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 a little more base, a little tiny base. Baby, start to creep down a bit here, shoot up, crash. This was a one-trick pony day. It would be, if you combine, if you're a moving average guy, right? And some people like to, you should be price action first. So you should have looked at your history and noticed if we're on an uptrend, we probably have a good chance of filling that V. I know it's a bigger picture, I'm sorry. But you have a good chance of this, right? Filling this area here. And it did. It shot up. But if you're a 200 moving average guy, you can see how you get shredded here. It's mostly in a channel, right? Like, look at that 200. It's right in the middle. Which way is it going? It's right in the middle, motherfucker. But here, it's just clear. I mean, I don't know what time frame you'd pick that would show anything different. But as you cruise through, you are in no danger, really. Maybe the one you might get a couple crosses. Let me go down a bit. So in the 1 minute, once you start breaking out, you get a little bit of heat there. Other than that, not much. A little bit there, then here. There's the break. And there's Amazon. Oh. But yeah, I mean, I guess on a real small time frame you may get a chop, but really it is not giving you any sell signals to get out of it. So it's a one-trick pony day. Playing off the trend, you crash it, start establishing an upward movement, you go sideways, consolidation, people are building their positions, little bit of tease, and then off to the races. Extremely not a difficult day to trade, and it gave you its opportunities to get back in. You know, if you wanted to, you had a little bit of red there. Not much though. I guess you had a little pullback there. You could have got in, but absolutely just a straightforward trading day. If you were here, you might have gotten wrecked. If you thought, I'm going to ride out those last couple minutes after the 4 o'clock, and I'm going to eat this short that's coming up. Hope you had your stop loss in, because that would have torched you. But I'd say for the most part, this is one of the easier days to trade. What could have gotten you in trouble here is you're just looking for possibly areas which you think it might pull back to or might drop. But really, I mean, nothing. When you look at a bigger picture here, it was just a straight shot. So that makes it one of the easier days to trade. Obviously, everything live is different. You know, your emotions are different. You're in it. You know, whatever time frame you're looking at, you might see something that, you know, your indicators may be different. But I would say just your basic, I mean, technical analysis, you should not. I mean, if we remove everything, all the fancy drawings, I mean, you have your base, right? So once it clears this level here, we'll just put in a line there. Show me where you're in trouble. So we're not there, bang, we clear it. This very next candle teases it and then comes back down and goes up, and then really you're not in any danger. You get a little pullback right there, you get a tease, but I mean, you should have entered anywhere in this area. And I mean, just move your stop loss up. Move your stop loss up. This anyone could have traded this day and crushed it. 15-minute time frame, same thing. You might have got, the only thing I could see that maybe would have been interesting is there's a zone in here which you may have thought, oh shit, strong move down, but it never really breaks the line. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't crash down. So that should have negated any downward move, you know, from this candle. And then as you're going up, you know, you have this bar here, but it doesn't really break that bar. It's close, but it doesn't, you know. And what's your heat on that? You were 115 to 86. So that's, I mean, that's 30 points. I could see someone, maybe if they, I don't know why you'd get it on a continuation up. If anything, and if you wanted to get in, you'd wait for that pullback and get in again here. Build your position. You know, wait for the pullbacks and then add on. You know, you don't take much heat there and it continues up. But, you know, other than here and there, I don't know. If you're an impulse guy, maybe you could have somehow messed it up. But most of it was just super sexy. The overnight, not the prettiest of patterns, but I'm not really a fan of the overnight. Super easy day to trade. Super easy day. And it is interesting, you know, you look at this, and some people look at this and they're like, it's horrible, but in reality it's beautiful. And I think it's important, even if you are trading and you're caught up in the moment of whatever it is you're looking at. So whether, you know, you're looking at all this and it looks strange to you, at the end of the day, when you're done trading, you know, I think you should come back and just look at the price action. Look how it traveled. Look how it moved. That way you can start to identify these patterns and things when they're done. So at the end of your day, when you're done trading, go ahead and erase all your lines. You know, see where you might have made a mistake, what you didn't look for. Start looking, you know, at these, you know, dominant bars. I mean, you can see where you're getting, you know, little wicks down, but show me the red on the hour, you know. Show me the red on the 30. Not really. Not till maybe the 15. You start seeing it. I do like the smaller time frames though. And then show me where it breaks below a 200 or any other, you know, MA that you have in mind. And then when you start to identify these patterns, you know, it would be the 30 or the hourly. Look at the patterns. You know, start to chart this shit out. You know, go for your touches. Start looking at areas and zones that, you know, that for you may have been something interesting. You know, start looking at that zone and think to yourself, well, okay, there's a low, it's getting close to a high. You know, maybe these don't really let you move it when you're done. There it goes. You know, maybe you go here and you go there. Excuse me. So you would have needed this to complete. So you finally get your second touch there. You place your long in. You try to get out here. And then you have a new high. So let's work that motherfucker up. Now you have a touch here, go long. Get out. Getting close, go long again. Get wrecked. You know, go long here. Oh my God, if you could, if you have the overnight swings and everything, I mean, some of these moves are silly. But always look for, you know, after the fact moves and things. I know a lot of people don't like chart analysis because it's after the fact and they're like, well, you know, whatever. But I tend to I see great value in areas of support and resistance and price movement and in just areas in general. Touch, 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 breaks it. Where does the rally begin? Well, the rally begins here, it begins there, it begins there. Oh, guess what, motherfucker? It begins there, and you can trace that back in time. Where do I short? Right off this line. It's a short, it's a short, it's a short, it's a short. Oh my god, it's a fucking short. It's a short, it's short, short, short. Get wrecked? Oh, short. Almost get wrecked, and fucking, history tends to repeat itself. You get a beautiful trend up, and then something like this, that skyrocket up, same shit. You don't have to trade 30, but I mean, look at that. You could start charting that out. Massive up move. Not really anything, look how it plays off the 2. For those of you who like trends. Or moving average trends. I mean, look how it just touch a little, touch again. I mean, you could have been building your positions off this. So, I mean, each area has a different way to play it. So, you could be going with, your price action here, right? Then you could be going with a channel tube here. You could be going with a moving average trend here. A moving average trend here. There's a lot of different tools and ways to play the market. When you're doing it live, it's a lot harder, granted. If you're a day trader, depending on what you like to trade, you might trade incredibly small time frames. So you might get into like a 1 minute time frame, and your world looks a lot fucking different on a 1 minute time frame. I was listening to somebody today that likes to play a 20-second time frame. I had no fucking clue. I was like, I gotta pull that up. I don't even know how I would respect that. I mean, you can't. Pray to God you don't hit any type of news event or earnings listing or anything, or have your stop losses in. But 20 seconds is oof. For most, I would say a 15 lower. If you're going to play, you're trying to day trade. You're not, and you're looking for history to kind of give you a sense of where it's going. And you don't really play, like, you're not playing off of this for today. You need to just take what it gives you today. The only information I have here is that I constantly move down, right? And so if I am going to get an uptrend, there's a chance that I'm heading in this range. How much of an uptrend? I don't know. It could be here, could be here, could be any of these spots. Probably not that one, but you never know. We could have a little pullback. But we can see where the red kicks in. Kicks in on that line, that line, that line. Not too crazy, right about there. That's nice. Hits up there, hits all the way there. Nice wick up. Little shake out, gap down. Well, you had to close and you had to open. So there's a bunch of tools and things you can use. When you do trade, I guess that's up to you. Find a niche or find a zone that you can handle. You can always go wick. You can always go, candlestick by candlestick. But if I was trying to get into a trade, I would say let something play out first. That's one of the reasons why I kind of like to get in at 9:30. It gives me a little bit of data in the morning. I could see this little consolidation here. 8:30 you tend to have some action, but then around 9:30 you can kind of get a rough idea, hopefully, you know, how you want to play it. And here obviously it's straight up. You know, we can go to other days. So here we had a massive move down, right? So we were creeping up, 9:30, bam, straight shot down, right? If I was playing this trend line off of this previous information and I saw that downward move hit my trend and not really crush it, I could combine this with this area here and think, you know what, let's try long. What's really hurting me there? You know, we have this massive move up around this zone here. This area here shows a lot of strength. Let's try a long here. You know, so I'm going to use that in combination with, you know, with the trend channel. And I see a lot of movement. Things to also look at when you're day trading is massive colors. So if I see a continuational color move, just a waterfall of fucking red, and then it stops, I'm gonna try to take some money going the other direction. You know, I actually live for these monstrous moves of red. And when they eventually stop, slow down, I'm gonna try to take advantage of that. See if I can get a fill. That is probably some of your safer trades once you come off of this. You know, start popping in some trend lines. Why not? What's the harm in popping a trend line here, waiting for a break, putting in an entry once it breaks this area, and seeing if you can't catch, you know, maybe a retrace to this zone, or if you're greedy, this zone. You know, that's not a bad trade. Here you have consolidation, probably stay away from that. Here's another nice little slash down, get a little going. And then even if we didn't have any data here, obviously news events, earnings, world events can cause things just to, you know, fucking shoot up. But normally if I see something like this monstrous move, right? And I see it start to curl over. You know, the bars are getting smaller. I'm starting to see a push down. And I'm thinking, okay, this is probably going to start to break. And then you get a news event, destroys everything. But if it was naturally moving, you know, you may have caught, I don't even know what that is, 230, 199, you know, whatever. Nice little 30 points. But, you know, time of day has a lot to do with it. People are exiting the market and everything. But once again, we can see through history that these massive down moves, however you want to view it, we can go back to an hourly, it might be easier. But anytime you have a massive down move, there's normally a pullback. Down move, pullback. You know, it gets a little choppy. The journey isn't always how you want it to be. You know, you may have thought, oh, maybe it's basing here. Maybe I get my pullback. Nah, you eat shit, son. Now you got it. And I'm going to go long here. Nope, I get taken out. There it is. But you shouldn't let something like this hurt you, because you do a stop loss and you remember this fucking line. And then when you get this consolidation pattern here, or this little basing pattern where it's base, now look for the breakout, which is this bar. You ride it up. So looking at it from a distance, it's simple, but when you go to enter the trade, it can be a little bit complicated if you're, depending on how you're trying to view it. But I see so many videos where, like, you got to do this, you got to use this one, you got to, you know, use this certain use my software, use all this software. A lot of the price action in these charts replicate themselves. So you'll see similar patterns, similar reactions to certain things throughout time. Now, obviously, you don't want to be caught in chaos or news events or these, major super flashes. But if you just take a fucking minute and let things play out a bit, sometimes it's not as chaotic as you think. And if it turns out you're caught in like an area that is not comfortable for you, then don't trade it. Simply wait. There's no shame if you took a short here, and let's say you got out like here, right? It goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, and finally starts making a move up here. And then you waited till it hit this area again. And then you felt like taking a short in this area. So you had to pull back. Here's your trade. That's your best entry. But even if you jumped the gun, took it here, I don't like taking 30 points of heat, but if this is your line, maybe it's better to say it this way. If this is your line, wait till it gets within this zone, this general area. Here. So here's your zone, right? So if you're looking to short heavy off this line and it breaks into here, you catch the short, you get some points, it goes all the way up, takes you out, goes up, breaks your line again, you're in. Goes down, you've crushed it. So you could have started on 4-5, right, at 9 a.m. I like 9:30 personally, but whatever. You could say you took the short there. Well, you're not really getting in, right, to the next short until here. Actually, I don't do 6 p.m. until an overnight. Yeah, I don't really like the overnight, but you get the picture. If your setup indicates a certain area where you feel that this is your setup, there is no shame in doing one trade, waiting till it gets to your setup and entering again. Waiting till it gets to your setup, enter again. Waiting till it hits your setup, maybe it rockets through it, wait till it comes back down again, take it again. And look at the times here. You have, 4:05, 4:07, 4:11. You don't really see that till 4:12. And you start eventually making newer highs. It gets a little sketchy there, but I think you kind of understand what I mean. Your setups may be different than other people's setups. So if you play the hourly, your setup might be different than someone that plays a 15. If you're playing the trend, look at that. That's 420 at 145. That's 424 at 9:30. That's 426 at 12:15. The setups are different for everybody, but depending on what you see, you could have also played different time frame setups throughout the day. Maybe this was your setup, and then it starts getting destroyed here. But why not go to the well? Went to the well once, let's go again. Let's go one more time. Sometimes these things, there's no guarantee these are going to hold. A lot of times they don't, but it is an opportunity to put in a trade and see how it plays out. And based on history, not a bad move. Based on history, you get wrecked there, don't you? But you understand. Maybe it's better to go off the top line. Bang. Short. General area, that's a little weird, but that's crystal. This doesn't get any easier. So trading's complicated when you're in the moment, but when you have areas that you feel strongly about, map them out, chart them, and then, put these areas up. If you really, for instance, let's do this. So you have a line, you can even do a zone there. So let's say your zone was from here to there, and you just wanted to ride that out. So here's my zone. I'm going to take trades in this area. I crushed it. Bang. I'm going to wait. Gotta wait. Okay, this hit my zone again. I'm going long. Nice. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. This hit my zone again. I'm going long. Oh, starting to roll over. Get out. I'm going to wait. This hit my zone. A little bit of heat. Going long. I'm out. You know what I mean? It doesn't, well, here you're in a different trend channel, but you can kind of see how areas repeat themselves. There's always something that you may not think is important that, could be 100 points, could be life-changing. Money being made. You don't always have to dissect something into a consolidation area. And then, look at that. That's a dream crusher there. Bang, bang. But, why play this shit? This garbage here. Unless you go to a higher zone, right? Get in where it's somewhat safe. And then short it. And just hold it. Now, obviously, you understand what I mean. Sometimes you can't hold it past a certain time of day, etc. But, let the trade play out. Chart. Look at your charts. See if they have any fucking meaning, folks. I mean, anytime you see this classic move down, right? Even though it's not pretty, goes down, goes up, goes down again. There's your previous. It's in this zone, right? So even if you, let's just take this area here. That's the wick. I don't know if that's a wick or a body. With this particular one, it's a wick. The body's there. You actually have a much lower low here, but let's pretend that didn't exist. Let's say our data just was here. So to move down, trace all the way up, down, going up, stitching it, break this line. We retrace it, get stopped out again. A little bit of FUD, crash it out, get stopped out again. Here. This zone here. Starts moving up, let's take it. So just based on this amount of little bit of fuckery here. So if you believe like I do that your major downswings are going to be accompanied by an upswing, and you see a major move down here, and you're not sure where to get in, my advice is let it play all the way out. So there's your first base is here. When you start to get a long, I would take the trade here. Let's see what happens. What is that? That's 55. So it goes through it. That's like what, 55 to 34. You might get stopped out there, depending on your stop loss. Does that mean you shouldn't re-enter the trade when it starts going in this general direction here? Makes new high. Ooh, it is a little bit of a lower low, but it's quick. Goes up. Or you can cast your net wider. You can say, you know what, it's too itchy in this area. I believe we're going up, but I don't like this entire zone. To me, it's too choppy. I'm not going to play this zone till I get a clean breakout of this zone, right? So we charted off our highs, our lows, and we're waiting for a breakout of this zone, which is this bar here. It breaks that high, right? And we start sideways. Now we start our upward movement, and it continues up. So this would be our long. If you feel like you're getting chopped up, draw a bigger box. Don't do shit. Just wait for it to play out and wait for it to break a new high. Because if you truly believe that you're making up this much space, right? So all this fucking delicious points, and you're going to worry about this chop, don't even worry about that chop. Wait till all that shit disappears. Now take the trade. That's a scary pullback, but now you would ride this one. Look at that. Now you ride it straight up. Easy peasy. Same thing over here. If you don't like the chop, don't play it. Let it drop. Let it drop down. Let it go wherever it wants to go. When it clears up, now get in. Let's see what happens. Put your stop loss in. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, guess what? You get stopped out again. But it plays out. And if you like holding shit, it really plays out. So my advice is find things that work when you're trading, find things that work after you're trading. So as you're trading live, keep a journal of kind of what you do, how you came about that trade, why you entered that trade, where you got wrecked, and then think what time frame was I looking at? Did I take a different look? You know, was I too focused in on maybe a certain area, and I should have been more patient, waited for like another little pullback and then taken it, or a breakout then a pullback. You know, look at different areas. I'm telling you, different time frames tell different stories, but the journey is the same. And you need, as a trader, to try to figure out, you know, what am I getting caught up in? Am I you know, what area? Why am I playing this choppy shit when I should have gotten in this zone, or I should have gotten in this zone? You know, why am I playing this? I have no business trading this. When I could trade this and take advantage of, you know, a much better move. When I can play this and take advantage of a better move. You know, start looking at things that make sense, and then be patient and wait for those areas. And realize you don't have to play that game all the time. You could simply, if it doesn't feel right, you know, take a step back, look at a bigger picture. You know, don't look at the break. You don't have to look at that one, you know, blade of grass. You can check out the field a little bit, see where everything's going. But you know, everyone has their own strategies. I would say your journey is going to be your journey, but you know, look at this stuff. You know, it's just a bunch of choppy lines. But when you watch this video, hopefully you see certain, you know, a little bit of orchestra play out. You know, different tunes kind of come into play. You know, with what it's given you gives you a different song, and you need to kind of be able to look at your different time frames, identify the song that's playing, and then take advantage of that. You know, is it just playing the high notes? Well, then, you know, let it play. You know, looks like you're going fly high today. But I mean, that's kind of the craziest thing. Don't be, you know, caught up in all this stuff if you don't have to. You know, there's a lot of stuff in here that Why play that if you don't have to? Take a bigger look, take a bigger picture, start identifying like a zone where you may want to go this direction, look at a different zone, look at different pictures. What are you giving me? Take a step back, man. History likes to repeat itself. Granted, this is a 1 minute time frame. Step back would be a larger issue time frame, but you know what I mean. Start looking at areas that, if you see that massive drop, look for that pullback. It's your journey. I'm sure you'll figure it out. But these are just kind of helpful things to reflect on when you're done with the day trading. Take a look at what's going on. And are you doing this as you're trading? Is the day not going the way you want it to go? Are you caught in the wash? Are you caught in the chop? And maybe you don't know it's the chop yet, but you're fucked. You need to step back, give it some time, start identifying areas. Use your past data, give you a rough idea where you think entries might be, but then don't assume that it's going to play off of that. It could be a totally different song that it's laying out for you. Could be playing some different tunes, but a lot of times you can almost always bet that money spent is going to be retrieved. There's going to be some type of yin and yang, some type of balance, and it may be the ugliest way possible that it plays out. It may be just absolute garbage. The daily's a little different, I find, because but then again, look, down, up, down, up. But when you start dealing with your higher end markets, like your S&P 500s, your best companies, over time, you would assume that they're going to continue to go up with the economy and everything else, inflation. Maybe it's easier on an hourly time frame. Eats dick, retraces. You could see that tune play out time and time and time again. Look at this up move here, right? Let's switch to, I don't have the 4 hour. It always gets me on that. Downward. Actually, it didn't quite hit it. That hit there. So it took a while for that to cap. This massive move down did replay here, replayed there. This little upswing here, let's see where we're probably going to go down again, but there is balance. Almost in every time frame, you're going to see these areas of buying and selling. It's your job as a trader to identify that, take advantage of it, be patient enough to let it play out, and then look for an advantage. Look for something that played out like this. Were you patient enough to wait for all of this to play out and then, make your move? Some shit like this, big, huge bar up. Oh, I'm shorting the fuck out of you. There's the shakeout. There's the trade. Pulls back again. Boom. You'll find your own journey, but all I'm saying is there is no magic that it shows you. There's only history repeating itself time and time and time again. And the journey's ugly. It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. It might only, sometimes it only, here you had a fill, you had another fill, a complete fill. You may not have full retraces of areas, but a lot of times when you get a downward move, you're going to get a pullback, unless you're caught up in a trend. And then you may have to wait for some other fuckery to take place, but you'll get the picture. The more you trade, the more you'll figure it out. But today, super easy. Take care.